We're live. We're live. I've got my little. I actually have a light now behind. Let's try and see if we can make the lights a nicer light. We have that. Guys, how are you all? Tell me which one's the best, right? How's everyone? It's Defending Elvis Presley Fans Want the Truth. So I've got like an ambient light in the background. I can't believe she would have had fans there. So, hi everyone, it's Louis. I'm 57. I'm a lifelong Elvis fan. I've just dyed my hair black, so I'm feeling very youthful at the moment. Did you enjoy the dog walk where the werewolves were chasing me? And we found out that you guys believe in ghosts, and it's trick or treat tomorrow night. We're all going trick or treating tomorrow night, so I'll probably give you a little live stream of me and the kids doing trick or treat. Hi Linda, hi Elaine, hi Tilling in Canada. Hi, let's have a look. Who we got? Pamela Gray, quite a new person. Pamela, hope you're all enjoying our live streams. Jane, of course. And let's just have a look. Who else we got on? Let me just quickly check. Mary, hi Mary. Obviously, more of you are going to join on, which I love. Teresa. There's only 9 of you at the moment. I wonder how many will join us tonight. So I was going to do this tomorrow, but I changed my mind. Let me just go through these different lights. Tell me which one is better. So I've got a light that it's about 4 different settings. So we've got this setting, this one, this one, this one, this one. So I think this one. I think this one. Very excited on your take, Louis and chat. Oh, thanks a lot, guys. So I discovered by accident. Right, look, let's be clear. Are we cutting out? Because if I am, I'll just restart it. So are we cutting out on the sound? Please tell me. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. Right, let me just tell me. Can you? I'm not going to carry on until you tell me that the sound is good. Because if it isn't, I can just restart. Am I cutting out? Am I cutting out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I cutting out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll talk a bit longer, but it's not a problem, guys, because if I'm cutting out, I'll just restart it. It'll be okay. Okay, but don't worry. If it does, we can just restart it. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so Finley Lockwood has liked one of our posts, Elvis's granddaughter, and I thought it was very interesting. She's just posted something on Instagram, guys. Now, remember, we obviously... Oh, that's good. Now, remember, guys. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Karen. Now, remember, this book has come out, From Here to the Great Unknown. Yeah? This book has exposed a lot of wrongdoing from allegedly Michael Edwards, from Priscilla. Yeah? And then I just found it very interesting what Finley posted. I thought it was, and we know that Finley is Elvis's granddaughter, but also she's a Christian. She's an Elvis fan. She sings. So, yeah, Elaine. But look at this. I found that she's just posted this about 10 minutes ago. God not done yet. God's not done yet. I just found that interesting. You know, bearing in mind the book that her that her sister has just released that clearly talks about the wrongdoing of Priscilla. What do you reckon, guys? Can you read into that? I just thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting that she would post that. And if you look at the top, you can see it's Finley. Let's have a look. There we go. Let's get it in the circle. Get that off a minute. God's not done yet. Don't know, I just found that an unusual thing for Finley to post. I thought, what does it mean, guys? What is the secret meaning? So let's just see if any of you guys have an opinion on that. So I found a really old vintage, someone has pieced this together. It's 45 minutes long. It's just got dozens of clips on the day that was announced that Vernon Presley died. It also shows funeral footage. It shows that Lisa was there, Lisa Marie, at Vernon's funeral. Priscilla was at Vernon's funeral. I think Vesta, Vernon's brother, was there, and many other people. It shows Vernon in a white hearse. It also, this is the bit where it gets quite interesting. It talks in detail about Sandy Miller, who I think was Vernon's nurse and girlfriend. It talks in detail about his medical problems with his heart that he'd had for years, how he died. But the standout thing for me was with Vernon. He was 63 when he died, by the way. It was less than 2 years after Elvis when he died. But the standout thing to me was it talks about his last will. And according to this video that I found, that he actually wrote the will the night before he died, or the day before he died. Yeah? Is that correct? And they say that the signature on it was very weak, a very weak signature, because he was so frail and so unwell. Now, to me, you know, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but to me, to do a will the night before you die or the day before you die, doesn't sound great to me. We've all seen that picture of Lisa Marie, Priscilla sat round the deathbed. In it, sat round Vernon, very unwell. So I think you're going to find this very interesting. Right, let me just put some Elvis in the background, actually. Let's have a look. See if we can get some Elvis in the background. So have any of you, can I ask you guys, have any of you seen the footage of Vernon Presley's funeral? Do any of you know much about the fact he was with Sandy Miller? One thing that we've learned when I was watching it, something I've learned watching it, was that I think he gave all his possessions to Sandy Miller, even describes her as a wife. He said they weren't married, but they were like, she was like his wife. That includes anything that he had that was Elvis's possessions. I found that quite interesting. So let me just, right, look, it's on there behind me, but I'm just going to put some Elvis stuff on. Let's put this on. Let's try with this. Come on, the remote's being a bit rubbish. So anyway, I'm going to play this video. Look, watching at the glasses, guys. Yes, I have glasses. Okay. If you ever see me out in public, I'll be wearing my glasses. Right. Let's just check your comments. Yes, I listened to Sandy Miller on Jordan the Days. He does Elvis things too on this channel. No, never seen it, but he was with Sandy Miller. Just before you die, most people don't really know what they're doing, in my experience. I just think, for me, don't forget, he took over everything when Elvis died. Responsibility for everything, yeah? Obviously, it was on behalf of Lisa Marie. And I just think there's so much property and money and land and items, artifacts, you know, belongings, possessions, call it what you want, that to do it the day before, I don't like it. It doesn't sound right. You're going to find this interesting, guys. Now, it is, I must say, this footage is old. There's a good half an hour we're going to go through. I'm gonna stop it now and then but I'm not going to stop it too much because I want to listen to what it's got to say. We're going to watch this together as Team Elvis. Yeah. So I'll quickly tell everyone that we're live. Let's tell Deborah. We've got to tell Deborah. Is Deborah on? Because Deborah wouldn't want to miss it, would she? We're live. Okay. Elaine, I'll tell Elaine we're live. Elaine, are you on? Okay. So let's put it on the Facebook. Hi, David. Hi, Lorna. Facebook. Let's put it on Facebook. And put it on there. Let's tell Elizabeth we're live. Elizabeth sent me a big coffee today. Thank you, Elizabeth. I think she's on Instagram. Elizabeth, are you there? I'm pretty sure she is on Instagram. So I'll just send to Elizabeth. Thank you so much for sending me that coffee. Any of you guys that sent me a coffee, David sent me a coffee. Thank you very much for sending me a coffee. That's very, very generous of you. Anybody that does me a super thank you or a coffee or becomes a member, anything like that, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I don't take it for granted. And I think Michelle sent me a coffee, and me and my wife did have a coffee on you guys. I can even show you the picture. So just so you know, let's see if I can get the picture up. So I bet, let's tell Michelle we're live. Right, guys, my coffee that you guys bought me. I actually took a picture of it. And then I did a small video of it. I actually do. When you guys get me a coffee, I do actually go and buy a coffee. Right. I think you're going to find it very interesting, this video. So we're going to get on with it, yeah? Save me waffling, because you know when I start talking, I never stop. So I'm going to try and not do too much talking on this video. Hi, Judith. You okay? I think I said all the names. Linda Cudden as well. Lady of the Lake, hi. Right, let me find it. I did go over and listen to Angie's Tea and Tarot's live today. It's very interesting. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's tell Hidden Minds that we're on as well. He's a busy guy. Okay, right. So I think we've told everyone that we need to tell. Just double checking, guys. Right, yeah, I think we've told everyone, yeah? Okay, so let's find the video. You know me, I'll lose it.
And the conversations a lot of time would trail off. Ours all, sadly. And I would try to change the conversation
right.
to something another subject.
Oh, Pamela. Yes, you remember. Right. Pamela's become a member. Thank you, Pamela. We're trying to get to 100 members, guys. We're going to do it, and then we're going to do some members lives. So I'm still going to do my normal 2-a-day lives for the subscribers, but with the members, you're going to get an extra live. So when we hit 100, guys, when we hit 100, right? I think we're on 63. Pamela, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, Pamela. Pamela, great. Right, are we ready, guys? I think you're going to find this interesting. I haven't watched all of this yet. I have watched some of it, but I've been saving it for you guys, yeah? So I want us to watch this together, yeah? So I'm going to watch. We're going to do this. We're going to learn about this together. Maybe he knew he was going to die. I have cancer now, and I am under hospice. I believe God lets you know. Hi, Mary. I send you love. And unfortunately, Mary, cancer has touched everyone. I'm a real believer that sugar is a problem. Now, not all of you know this, but I'm trying to say it. I don't want to get too serious, but you guys know that my wife is recovering from cancer. So we've all been through a very difficult time. Mary, stay positive. I send you a lot of love. I really wish you all the best. I do believe getting rid of sugar, bread, pasta, rice, potato, anything that feeds cancer, anything helps. So anyway, I'm no expert. That's why I'm on the keto diet, KETO. So Mary, I send you love. I send you love. And fingers crossed, my wife is recovering. She's still on chemo. She's only got 6 weeks left of chemo. So touch wood, guys, touch wood. But it does seem that she's getting much better. So I'm very, very optimistic. Right. Okay. Right, guys, we're going to play this. Okay. Right. Are we ready, guys? Remember, I haven't watched this bit. Let's get it nice and now the quality is not great, but let's just listen. Remember, it's lots of news clips. Eventually, we get to the bit where they start showing the will. They actually show the actual will. They show Vesta, Vernon's brother, announcing the death of Vernon. They show funeral footage and many more things. A lot of it is repetitive. A lot of it is repeated because it's different news clips around the world. Okay, guys?
Vernon Presley. Morris also talked about plans for an Elvis Presley museum and how he does not think the plans will be impeded. Plans were not only in his hands, but in the hands of the staff and people who were working with him. And I presume that the Colonel Parker efforts, along with others connected with the estate, will pursue the museum or something to commemorate or to support the memory of Elvis Presley, and certainly
Morris says he hopes to be able to announce firm plans for the museum August 16th. That's the second anniversary of Elvis's death. The chairman of City Council, Pat Vandersgaard, told us Presley's death today is a tragedy which saddens all Presley fans. She, too, talked about plans for a museum, specifically the city's continuing effort to buy Graceland.
That has been a priority item for the administration and council and will continue to be even.
I will just comment on that. Now, remember, we've all had this discussion about whether or not Priscilla saved Graceland, whether Graceland was going to get broken up and sold off in little pieces. And I've always said this to you guys, Graceland was never going to get properly sold. It was going to be saved by the city of Memphis. They were going to launch it as a living museum before Priscilla came along. Priscilla isn't the reason that Graceland was saved. It was all in hand. It was being saved by the city of Memphis, and with the Colonel was involved, Vernon was involved, and someone called Morgan Maxfield, another name for you guys to Google. Priscilla was engaged to him for a small time. He died in a plane crash. Graceland was never going to be sold. The council, the city of Memphis may have took it over. The idea of the living museum was not Priscilla's idea. They were running with that idea for quite a while. It had been sort of running as a museum already. Look at people like Todd Slaughter. Todd Slaughter was already doing visits to Graceland, was already and had been for a few years. So what they've just said is they've just said that the council were arranging a deal with Vernon to buy Graceland, but really they were just going to turn it into a living museum. The plans for the museum were already in place. Okay, guys?
Elvis Presley and certainly
Morris says he hopes to be able to announce firm plans for the museum August 16th. That's the second anniversary of Elvis's death. The chairman of City Council, Pat Vandersgaard, told us Presley's death today is a tragedy which saddens all Presley fans. She, too, talked about plans for a museum, specifically the city's continuing effort to buy Graceland.
That has been a priority item for the administration and council and will continue to be, even probably more accelerated in view of Mr. Presley's death, to make sure that the heirs will work with us, because our hope from all of us is that there can be a living memorial, and a better fitting tribute would be to have Graceland. So we certainly will be pursuing it with the appropriate individuals.
We here at Eyewitness News have been unable to confirm the particulars of funeral plans for Vernon Presley. We are told that the funeral is to be small, simple service for family and close friends only. It's expected that Vernon will be buried at Graceland next to his wife and Elvis. In Elvis's will, Vernon had been named executor and trustee of the estate. That was nothing new for him. The elder Presley had been handling his son's financial holdings for years. The way Elvis's will was written, when Vernon Presley died, a new executor and trustee would be named in Vernon's will. Well, right now it appears that one of two people might be named: Elvis's ex-wife Priscilla or the National Bank of Commerce here in Memphis. Vernon,
So let me just butt in. So they're discussing the will now. They're saying who the new executors will be, who will be named. They're not sure. Everything's up in the air. So listen to this, guys, because it's very, very interesting.
And had been living at Graceland along with his sister Delta, his brother Vester, and his mother Minnie Mae. They all still live there. And one final note, Elvis's will states that after Vernon's death, only Minnie Mae and Elvis's daughter Lisa Marie would continue to be taken care of by the estate.
Vernon Presley began life on the bottom, then watched and helped his son make it right to the top.
In 1916, Vernon Elvis Presley was born, the second son in a family of 5. In 1933, at age 17, he married 21-year-old Gladys Love Smith. Vernon and his brother Vester worked a farm together near Tupelo, Mississippi, raising cotton, corn, soybeans, and a few hogs. On January 8th, in 1935, his wife Gladys gave birth to twin boys. One died. The other was named Elvis Aaron. In 1948, Presley took his wife and 13-year-old boy Elvis to Memphis. Presley was looking, along with other Americans, for a better life. 7 years later, he found it when his son Elvis made the big time. On August 14th, in 1958, his wife Gladys Love died. In 1960, Presley remarried to D. Stanley. Vernon started touring with his son, but the pace was too much for him. He had a history of heart trouble. He also suffered from diabetes. In February of 75, Presley was an outpatient at Baptist Hospital with chest pains. In the latter part of 1977, Vernon and Dee were divorced. Later, in 1978, with more chest pains, Presley returned to Baptist Hospital, this time via ambulance. On August 16th of 1977, Presley suffered yet another family death. His son Elvis died of a heart failure. Vernon opened his home to the millions of fans who came to pay their last respects to his son, the king of rock and roll.
Folks from all over the Mid-South and the country are mourning the death of Vernon Presley. Tonight, Elvis' father was 63 years old. Mr. Presley had been admitted to Baptist Hospital many times in the past year or so. He suffered from irregular heartbeats, which required constant care. He last went into the hospital on May 25th, and this morning, in a room on the 12th floor, he died of that same heart ailment. Nurses said he was in good spirits and wasn't suffering any pain. Vernon Presley made few public appearances after Elvis died 2 years ago. People who knew him say he never really recovered from his son's death. They had a very close relationship. Today, as on that day in 1977, people gathered at the gates of Graceland when they heard Presley had died. It took about an hour for the word to reach Graceland, and it wasn't easy for the fans to accept. As one told us, it's jarring just knowing that Elvis' father has passed away too. Across the street, a new message went up on a marquee at a souvenir shop. And back at the mansion, Vernon's brother Vester struggled to tell the fans what had happened.
I'm very sorry, folks, that we're not able to tour today. We will be open maybe Friday if everything works out all right. We just had bad luck this morning.
The gates were closed at Graceland today in memory of Mr. Presley. There'll be no more tours for a while. Vernon Presley will be buried on Thursday at Graceland next to his son. A private funeral will be held Thursday morning at 11. And we will have more about the life of Vernon Presley later in the broadcast. We'll be talking to some of his closest friends and associates, and we'll look at what progress has been made on something he hoped to see, a museum honoring Elvis. Today puts a special project in limbo once again. That project is a memorial to his son. There have been lots of proposals, everything from a museum for the singer to changing the city's name to Elvis Presley, Tennessee. The museum idea seems most accepted, but there is debate on whether to build a new building or move everything into Graceland. Chandler says he hopes negotiations can continue on a project he says will mean a lot to the family, Presley fans, and the city.
Of course, we have been in touch. As a matter of fact, we have an appointment now with Beecher Smith, who, of course, is an attorney for Elvis's estate. I don't know whether he'll be handling Vernon's estate, into which most of this memorabilia and estate will fall, except, of course, the home will still remain, and a lot of the memorabilia will go to the daughter. We'll continue to, of course, quietly and as quickly as we can to find out who will represent that aspect of the estate and to deal with them in hopes that we can make this a part of our city for the rest of time.
Chandler praised the late Vernon Presley as a great citizen of this community. Vernon Presley was a private man. He stayed out of the public eye, didn't have many close friends. Today, though, I did talk with a few people who knew him and Elvis pretty well. This photo of father and son was taken on June 26, 1977 in Indianapolis. It was Elvis' last concert before he died. 2 years later to the day, Vernon Presley is dead. Dick Grove was chief of security for the Presleys for 10 years. Today, he told me about Mr. Presley.
He, I think, deteriorated very rapidly since his son's death, with all the pressures and the responsibilities that were heaped upon him. The people that necessarily filed suit and those that tried to gain things that weren't rightfully theirs. He took these all very personal, and I think that contributed greatly to his death today.
Grove spent a good deal of time with Vernon Presley during the last year and a half of his life. So did Charlie Hodge, who began working with Elvis back in the late 50s.
From my earliest recollections, which is 1958, when I first met Vernon in Germany, he's always a very humorous man with a great sense of humor.
And Clarence Carter also met Vernon Presley in the 50s. Over the years, they saw a lot of each other, had dinner together frequently. Carter remembers one time when his nephew was there.
We'd had dinner and talked, and they had gone home, and the little nephew, some 10 or 12 years old, he came to me and he said, "Uncle Clarence, he's just people like us, isn't he?" I think that pretty well describes him. He was that type person. And he was that way to everyone that he met.
The flower displays arrived at Graceland today, memorializing Vernon Presley at the flower shop across the street from the Presley mansion. Flowers arrived all morning long from florists across the city. Then they were delivered later to the mansion itself. Services for Vernon Presley, by the way, will be held at Graceland tomorrow morning. Today, the coffin is being kept open for friends and family to pay their last respects. The funeral will be closed to the public Vernon will be buried at the Memorial Garden next to the mansion where Elvis and Gladys Presley are also buried.
We checked by Graceland tonight, and everything appears to be in order for tomorrow's funeral. Vernon Presley will be buried on the grounds at 11 in the morning. He will be placed beside his wife and son, Elvis Presley. The funeral is only for family and close friends. Vernon died yesterday from heart failure while hospitalized at Baptist Hospital. He was 63. Meanwhile, Mayor Wyatt Chandler said today the city is still interested in buying Graceland.
Mayor Wyatt Chandler today said the city is still interested in buying the Graceland mansion from the family of the late Elvis Presley in order to establish a permanent memorial to the famous singer. Chandler now says he'll negotiate with the...
Let me just pause that a second. Again, this is more proof that the living museum was happening. There was no maybe. There was no possible closure of Graceland. No possibility of Graceland being broken up and sold off. Now, remember, we have interviews of Priscilla saying they were even worried that they were going to strip out the walls, the wallpaper, the carpets, the furniture. They were going to break it all up and sell it all off. Completely untrue. This is Priscilla's words. Completely untrue. It was never going to be broken up ever. So this is proof, guys. Graceland was never going to be sold. It was always going to be saved, preserved as a living museum, and they were working on it thoroughly. So don't be fooled by the fact that Priscilla was there at the launch. No, actually, she was at the press launch to say that she'd saved Graceland, that she was opening Graceland as a museum. It was bullshit, guys. Everyone fell for it. Everyone around the world fell for this lie that Priscilla had saved Graceland. Graceland was already saved. Memphis, the city of Memphis, were already saving it, and the Colonel and Vernon. But not just that. The launching, the press launch that we've all seen, Priscilla looking beautiful, proudly boasting how Graceland would open as a living museum on behalf of Lisa Marie, and one day Lisa Marie would live there. She never turned up to the opening of Graceland. How many of you know this? Priscilla, on the opening day of Graceland, did not turn up. As far as we know, she was in LA with one of her boyfriends. So don't be conned. You Priscilla fans out there, I respect you guys. Please watch our live stream so you can understand that you have been brainwashed, you have been misled, you have been lied to. Many of the things you guys think, you Priscilla fans, you've been tricked and fooled by this book, which is a book of lies, in my opinion. So join us on our movement to defend Elvis and educate you guys, the Priscilla fans, to know the truth. The truth. Not you've been very misled. I know, and one of the most common things that is said on my comments is that Priscilla saved Graceland. Priscilla, it was her idea to open the Living Museum, to turn Elvis's home into a museum. This is not true. This is not true. Many of you feel a debt to Priscilla because you feel that she preserved Elvis's legacy. She did not. The fans preserved Elvis's legacy. The fans. If anything, Priscilla has harmed Elvis's image and reputation and damaged his legacy. Priscilla, guys, puts herself first. This is why the film Priscilla by Sofia Coppola was made. It was all about making Priscilla look more important than Elvis. Yeah? The Priscilla film, Sofia Coppola's Priscilla film, was all about making Priscilla look like a victim and Elvis look bad. Remember, Lisa Marie did not want the film made. She did not want the film Priscilla made. She even emailed Sofia Coppola, and behind the scenes, there's a possibility that Lisa Marie was about to serve a lawsuit on Priscilla to prevent this film being made. just an opinion for entertainment purposes. So, guys, we have to open our eyes and see what really has gone on here. Now, remember, when Lisa Marie died, Priscilla tried to prevent Lisa's wishes happening. She tried to prevent Graceland being given to Riley and Finley and Harper. And in the end, they agreed a settlement, and the money that Priscilla was given came straight out of the pocket of Elvis's grandchildren, Riley, Finley, and Harper. Every penny Priscilla received, whether it be the $1 million or the 400,000 legal fees and the 100,000 a year advisory payment that she gets from Graceland, it all comes out of the pocket of the grandkids, Elvis's grandkids. Remember that, guys. Don't be tricked by the bullshit from Priscilla. Let's keep going, guys. So this is just verifying to us that Graceland was never going to be sold, and it was already in the motions of creating the Living Museum, was already in play.
The late Elvis Presley, in order to establish a permanent memorial to the famous singer. Chandler now says he'll negotiate with the Memphis Bank, which is acting as executor of the Presley estate. Tomorrow, Elvis' father, Vernon Presley, will be buried beside his son on the mansion's ground.
Well, they laid Elvis's father to rest today. Funeral services for Vernon Presley were today at Graceland. It was a private funeral for the Presleys who are left and close friends.
Judge Evans. Judge Evans. Good to see you, Judge.
Uncle Vester was there. So were Colonel Parker, Lisa Marie, and Priscilla. The best the couple of hundred fans at the gate could do was watch for someone famous to arrive and strain for a glimpse of activity up at the mansion. Kathy Bye was there because Vernon used to wave to her.
I just wanted to do something for his family and show him that I appreciated him, and, you know, glad that they had Elvis and glad he did what he did.
The service began at 11. We don't know much about what happened, but they played some of Elvis's religious recordings, including Peace in the Valley. Then they carried Vernon to the garden and buried him next to his wife Gladys and his son Elvis.
Oh, well, tired and so weary, but I must go along.
Lovely.
Till the Lord comes and call me away.
Oh, I love it. He's behind me.
There's a morning so bright, and a lamb is in light, and a night that is in light, that is a sea.
I love it. I love it.
There will be
Let's sing it, guys.
peace in the
Come on, Linda.
There will be peace in the valley over me. Oh Lord, I pray. There'll be no sadness.
Laid to rest. Debbie
Love it.
Pleasanton
Love
and
it,
photographer Bruce Brown were at Graceland this morning for the funeral.
The
mood inside the gates of Graceland was somber as friends and family members gathered for the funeral. Vernon Presley died Tuesday morning of heart failure at the age of 63. Sheriff's deputies were patrolled around the mansion to make sure there would be no interruptions. The service was held inside Graceland about 11 a.m. The only music was recorded religious songs, sung by Vernon's son Elvis. An hour later, the casket was moved outside. City Mayor Wythe Chandler, County Mayor Bill Morris, Sheriff Gene Barksdale, and County Clerk Dick Hackett were among the pallbearers. The casket was placed in a hearse and driven to the Memorial Gardens next to the house. The path was lined with funeral wreaths and flowers.
Following were Vernon's second wife, Dee, Elvis's former wife, Priscilla, and Vernon's only grandchild, Lisa Marie. Vernon was buried next to Elvis and his first wife, Gladys Love. Officials say about 150 people attended. Outside, about as many fans were gathered. John Bennett was there.
Outside the big iron gates of Graceland, the scene was only vaguely reminiscent of the events of nearly 2 years ago, the day Elvis Presley was buried here. Fans had gathered throughout the day, but a smaller crowd, an orderly crowd, all straining to see what was going on inside.
I've been out here, I was here a couple of times Tuesday and about a couple of times yesterday, so I've been out here close to about 4 or 5 times since the death of Vernon Presley early Tuesday morning.
Some had come from other states, some from great distances. Many did not even know of Vernon Presley's death until they got here. They were disappointed the gates were closed.
We had planned on visiting the grave tomorrow, but as long as it's closed, we will have to go back home without seeing it. We're from Chicago, and we made the trip, our annual vacation.
Well, I planned a trip to Graceland for the last year to put flowers on Elvis's grave. We arrived Monday night, and of course, Vernon passed away on Tuesday.
So you weren't able to put those flowers in the grave?
No flowers on Elvis's grave. Now, I don't know if I ever will be able to or not.
And according to Presley family members, the graveside area will be closed to all visitors for at least 2 or 3 weeks. Noticeably absent from the front of Graceland were the hucksters selling T-shirts, postcards, and jewelry. Today, only a paperboy selling copies of a newspaper with headlines of Vernon Presley's death. Today, all was quiet. John Bennett, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
The late Elvis Presley, Vernon Presley, has been laid to rest. He was buried today at Graceland. The mood inside the gates of Graceland was somber as friends and family members gathered for the funeral. Vernon Presley died Tuesday morning of heart failure at the age of 63. Sheriff's deputies were patrolled around the mansion to make sure there would be no interruptions. The service was held inside Graceland about 11 a.m. The only music was recorded religious songs, sung by Vernon's son, Elvis. An hour later, the casket was moved outside. City Mayor Wyeth Chandler, County Mayor Bill Morris, Sheriff Gene Barksdale, and County Clerk Dick Hackett were among the pallbearers. The casket was placed in a hearse and driven to the Memorial Gardens next to the house. The path was lined with funeral wreaths and flowers. Following were Vernon's second wife, Dee, Elvis's former wife, Priscilla, and Vernon's only grandchild, Lisa Marie. Vernon was buried next to Elvis and his first wife, Gladys Love.
Well, Vernon Presley was probated in Memphis today, and the bulk of his estate went to his fiancée. Control of his late son's large estate was transferred to Elvis's wife and an accountant and a local bank. Mike Lawhead has details.
All of the principals named as executors of the Presley estate were on hand to hear the probating of the will of Vernon Presley.
Let me just pause it. I think this bit gets very interesting, guys. You start to see the documents. They start to explain exactly what Vernon's wishes were after his death. Also, when he signed the will. So let's listen to this. So just in case anyone that's asking about, if you want to join the 24-hour chat of our Defending Elvis Presley Facebook page, you just go to Defending Elvis Presley on Facebook, like it, and then there's a small icon that says chat, and you just click on that, and then you join the chat. And of course, if any of you want to be on my friends, you just type in Louis Macready's, and I will accept you. And we use the chats to get to know each other, to share our research, pictures, videos, and we get to know each other really well with these chats. And the chat is 24 hours. As soon as we come off this live stream, we're chatting on the Facebook Messenger. Okay, guys? So let's listen to this. Let's see some of these documents.
Mrs. Sandra Miller as the executrix of his estate, while Elvis' former wife Priscilla was named co-executor and
Let me rewind it a bit.
principals named as executors of the Presley estate were on hand to hear the probating of the will of Vernon Presley. The elder Presley named his fiancée, Mrs. Sandra Miller, as the executrix of his estate, while Elvis' former wife Priscilla was named co-executor and co-trustee of Elvis' $7.5 million estate, along with certified public accountant Joseph Hanks and the National Bank of Commerce. Vernon Presley made some changes in his will just this past Monday, the day before he died of heart failure at the age of 63.
So remember, he changed the will the day before he died. Now, come on, guys. Doesn't that sound dodgy to you? Seriously, the day before he died. Something not right in that. Something not right in that.
Vernon Presley made some changes in his will just this past Monday, the day before he died of heart failure at the age of 63. According to the will, Vernon's brother Vester and his sister Nash Pritchard will equally divide 1/5 of the estate, or $20,000, whichever is less, while the remainder of the estate will be divided equally among Elvis' daughter Lisa Marie, Vernon's mother Minnie Mae Presley, Vernon's sister Delta Mae Biggs, and Sandra Miller. Mrs. Miller will also receive... I want
to rewind that again so we can really take it in, guys, yeah? You can see Priscilla is right in there, guys, right in there.
Along with certified public accountant Joseph Hanks and the National Bank of Commerce. Vernon Presley made some changes in his will just this past Monday, the day before he died of heart failure at the age of 63. According to the will, Vernon's brother Vester and his sister Nash Pritchard will equally divide 1/5 of the estate, or $20,000, whichever is less, while the remainder of the estate will be divided equally among Elvis' daughter Lisa Marie, Vernon's mother Minnie Mae Presley, Vernon's sister Delta Mae Biggs, and Sandra Miller. Mrs. Miller will also receive all of Vernon Presley's personal effects, except for the furniture in his home. Vernon Presley's will places no restrictions on the possible future sale of the Graceland mansion, which the city has been negotiating to purchase for use as an Elvis Presley museum. The mansion's future now rests in the hands of Priscilla Presley, accountant Joseph Hanks, and the National Bank of Commerce, but Presley attorney Beecher Smith says there are no immediate plans for the sale of Graceland. Mike Lawhead, News Watch 3.
The last will and testament of Vernon Presley has been revealed. Here are details from Joan Draghi.
Vernon Presley left most of his estate to Sandra Miller. In his will, he calls her his, quote, dear friend, beloved fiancée, and contemplated wife, end of quote. Miller, Elvis's former wife, Priscilla Presley, Vernon Presley.
Let's just a couple of points there. So we don't know what the change of Vernon's will was the night before. Obviously now Priscilla is in a very powerful position because she eventually becomes the main trustee on behalf of Lisa Marie. So she basically gets all power, doesn't she? And they've just clearly again made it very clear, really, that there's no way that Graceland's was going to be sold, and that it was already at hand that it was going to be a living museum. So let's just keep going.
Presley's lawyer and others representing Presley appeared in probate court today. Miller was named executor of Vernon Presley's will. At the time of his death, Vernon Presley was executor of Elvis's estate, and that responsibility was also taken care of in the will.
Mr. Presley exercised that provision in his will, appointing the National Bank of Commerce, Mr. Hanks, the accountant, and Priscilla Presley to be the substitute or successor trustees and executors.
The exact worth of Vernon Presley's estate won't be known for a couple of months. Presley died at Baptist Hospital this past Tuesday. Joan Draghi, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
The Graceland mansion will remain closed to visitors for some time. The public will not be allowed to view the gravesite of Elvis Presley for 5 or 6 weeks. A bronze tablet is to be placed over the grave of Vernon Presley. Family members are composing an inscription for
the will of Vernon Presley was revealed in court today. He left the majority of his estate to fiancée Sandra Miller. Russell Ruffin reports.
Vernon Presley left most of his personal possessions, his cars, clothing, and jewelry, to Sandra Miller. Presley listed her as his beloved fiancée and contemplated wife. This will was prepared only one day before Vernon's death. His signature is very sketchy, which would indicate that Mr. Presley was very weak at the time. Vernon Presley left equal amounts of cash to his brother Vester and her sister, Nash Pritchard, in the amount of $20,000.
So I want to rewind that bit. It's very short, so very quick. But they say his signature was very sketchy because he was very weak at the time. Remember these massive decisions that Vernon had to make when he was so frail, so unwell. That seriously worries me. The other thing is, we know that Sandy Miller was his nurse looking after him, and that they were engaged, and he was hoping to marry her one day, and he wants to give her everything. He gives her his jewelry, his cars, all his belongings. So Sandy Miller actually was quite important when all these decisions were being made on behalf of Elvis, Lisa Marie. And did you guys know just how important Sandy Miller was to Vernon? You can tell he must have loved her because of the things that he left her. I don't know if he left her any property. I don't know. I wonder what Sandy Miller did with all these possessions. I have no idea. We need to look it up. I'd love to find out what Sandy Miller actually did with these possessions, with the cars, with all the belongings. I'd like to have a list of the things that she inherited. Do any of you know? Is there a list of everything she inherited from Vernon when he died? Very interesting, guys.
One-fifth of the balance of his cash estate, whichever is less. What's left after that goes in equal amounts to Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie, Mrs. Miller, Vernon Presley's fiancée, Minnie Mae Presley, Vernon's mother, and Delta Mae Biggs, Vernon's other sister. Vester Presley had not heard anything about his brother's will until Action News supplied him with a certified copy this afternoon at Graceland. He's listed you giving you $20,000.
Right.
Or one-fifth of what is left.
Oh, I see.
So what becomes of the Graceland mansion that Vernon had managed? The city of Memphis would still want to buy it one day, but it is still in the hands of executors and...
Now, the unusual thing, guys, is that the press approach Vester, Vernon's brother, the gate man, yeah, and tell him that he's inherited $20,000 of the will, from the will. And Vester didn't even know. I just find that shocking that Vester finds out what he's going to get from the will of Vernon from a member of the press. I just find that bizarre. Right. Let's just play it again, yeah?
The balance of his cash estate, whichever is less. What's left after that goes in equal amounts to Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie, Mrs. Miller, Vernon Presley's fiancée, Minnie Mae Presley, Vernon's mother, and Delta Mae Biggs, Vernon's other sister. Vester Presley had not heard anything about his brother's will until Action News supplied him with a certified copy this afternoon at Graceland. He's listed you giving you $20,000.
Right.
Or one-fifth of what is left.
Oh, I see.
So what becomes of the Graceland mansion that Vernon had managed? The city of Memphis would still want to buy it one day, but it is still in the hands of executors and trustees because it is still owned by Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie. But the will does give Elvis's ex-wife Priscilla a little more control over the mansion. She is one of 3 co-executors and co-trustees of this mansion, along with the local CPA and the National Bank of Commerce. In the next few months, Vernon's estate will be inventoried to determine its value and how it will be disposed of. At Graceland, Russell Ruffin, Action News 5.
Vernon Presley was laid to rest today in Meditation Garden at Graceland Mansion. The father of the late Elvis Presley was buried alongside the graves of his son and his first wife, Gladys. We have more on the funeral from Cindy Whipple.
It was shortly after 10 o'clock when cars began pulling up the long, winding driveway of the Graceland Mansion. Funeral wreaths decorated the front yard of the residence, and a hearse waited to carry the body of Vernon Presley to the estate's Meditation Garden. By 11, only security guards remained on the grounds. Family and friends of Mr. Presley had gathered in the mansion's music room where the services were held. Outside the 13-acre estate, several hundred mourners congregated. Some placed bouquets of flowers at the front gate. Following the services, Presley's body was placed in the hearse and driven slowly to the garden while members of the funeral party walked alongside it. Among the estimated 100 people in attendance was Elvis' 11-year-old daughter, Lisa Marie, her mother, Priscilla Presley, and Vester Presley, Vernon's brother. Others attending were Dee Presley, Vernon's second wife of 17 years, Elvis' former manager, Colonel Tom Parker, Memphis Mayor Wyatt Chandler, and Shelby County Mayor Bill Morris. It was the second time in nearly 2 years that death had entered the Graceland gates. In August 1977, Elvis died of heart failure at Baptist Hospital. The elder Presley died Tuesday at Baptist after a lengthy battle with heart problems. He was laid to rest shortly after noon in the estate's garden beside Elvis and his first wife, Gladys. Because of the funeral, Elvis souvenir shops across the street from Graceland were closed. Some shop owners had posted signs saying they'd reopen after the funeral. A large sign in front of the shopping center offered its sympathy to the Presley family, while fans standing at the gate peered anxiously into cars leaving Graceland after the burial. Some had come from as far away as West Germany, Norway, and Canada. Many came thinking they'd be able to tour the grounds. But because of Mr. Presley's death, the family has closed Graceland to the public for the next few weeks. Vester Presley reassured us they will reopen. The will of Vernon Presley, who after Elvis' death became the executor of the estate, will be probated Friday. National Bank of Commerce is expected to be appointed executor. Cindy Whipple, Newswatch 3.
Vernon Presley, or 1/5 of what is left.
Oh, I see. I really didn't see all through it there, but according to it, they have left out one of my sisters, one Gladys Doherty, something like that. She's been married to him a long time, but I never met him but once. So that's one thing. She should have been in there, I think, and she's very tore up about it.
So what becomes of the Graceland mansion that Vernon had managed? The city of Memphis would still want to buy it one day, but it is still in the hands of executors and trustees because it is still owned by Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie. But the will does give Elvis's ex-wife, Priscilla, a little more control over the mansion. She is one of 3 co-executors and co-trustees of this mansion, along with the local CPA and the National Bank of Commerce. In the next few months, Vernon's estate will be inventoried to determine its value and how it will be disposed of. At Graceland, Russell Ruffin, Action News 5.
Let's do it, guys.
There will be peace in the
Come on.
when tired and so weary, but I must go alone till the Lord comes and called me weary. Where the morning so bright and the lamb is in light, and that is a land that is a sea. There will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness.
That's it, guys. So very, very interesting. I found that fascinating, guys. I found it fascinating. So I'm not going to say that much longer, but I thought we would just discuss it a little bit, guys. What are your views on what we've just witnessed? Obviously, we've learned about Vernon dying at 63. He obviously was very unwell, serious heart problems. I think he was also heartbroken. Yeah. really, after Elvis was gone, Vernon didn't feel like, how can I say it? I think if it wasn't for Sandy Miller, I think he would have been gone sooner. I think him falling for Sandy Miller kept him going a bit longer. We now know about the will. We know that the will was changed the day before he died. The signature was frail and weak, that he was very weak. We now know about Sandy Miller, that she was a very important person to Vernon at the end. Vernon loved her, got engaged to her, wanted to marry her, gave everything that he owned to Sandy Miller. I don't know how long Sandy was with Vernon. I actually have no idea. She definitely didn't. It definitely, this little video shows that the city of Memphis were going to sort out Graceland. The museum was happening, regardless of Priscilla, regardless. But we've always known this, haven't we? 63 is very young. Many of us, I'm 57. Many of us here are over 63. So it's just too young, isn't it? Yeah, I agree, Karen. He was never going to accept Elvis going, is he? No father wants to go, wants their son to go before them. There is a possibility. I wouldn't say it proves it, Elaine, but it does make it very possible that something went on the day before Vernon died with that will. It's dodgy. I think now, if this happened today, in 2024, there'd be a lawsuit, wouldn't there? I don't think it's right to change your will the day before you die. It doesn't sit right with me. I know, loser. Come on, guys. Many of us are older here, aren't we? I would say most of us have lost our parents. It's just not. You never get used to it. It's always a weird thing. But I like to think that our parents, you know, my father, my mum's still alive. She's in a nursing home. I like to think you always sense your parents, don't you? When they're gone, I still sense my father. I still sense him around me. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. Yeah, you get used to it. You do. Oh, that's nice, Crystal. That's nice. So that's it, guys. I'm not going to hang on much longer. I'm tired. I want to do another live stream in the morning on a different topic. But I found that fascinating. I don't know much about Vernon. I know that I think he was born. Yeah, I think from this video, he was born 1916, which means, I don't know, he must have been part of World War II, yeah? Because he would have been a young man during World War II. So he must have, I think, I don't know, he must have fought for America, yeah? Does anyone know? Was Vernon a soldier? I don't know, guys. This is something I've never looked into. Lisa Watts, wonder if they ever validated Vernon's signature. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to Team Elvis. Welcome to Defending Elvis. Are you new? Welcome aboard. Wonder if they validated Elvis. Maybe Priscilla contested Lisa's signature is because she's projecting. That's a good point. Good point. Still doesn't make it okay, does it? Yeah, you do. I sense my father around me. My father made a lot of mistakes, but I still loved him. Come on, we love our parents. We love our brothers, our sisters, our cousins. You can't help it. Blood is blood. Yeah, 10th of April, 1916, Helen. Did any of you learn something new from that video? Did any of you learn something new? Because I definitely did. I found the whole thing fascinating. I stumbled on it. Stumbled on it. Should we look at some of the comments that have come in? Let's have a look. Now, you must have noticed when my phone keeps flashing with comments, I literally get a comment from you guys defending Elvis Presley, Team Elvis, every minute. I would say I get a comment every minute. I love it. I love that you guys are giving me comments every minute. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can look up some comments, guys. I feel blessed that I get you guys commenting constantly. Vernon's will change one day before he passes is very suspect. Yes, Gio, I agree. So I'm not quite finished yet. I've got a few more minutes yet, Linda. Let's have a look. At least in the last 25 years, witnesses to will. Right, Nat TV, our parents could have made mistakes, but we know that they loved us and they did the best they could. No parent has a manual on how to raise a son and daughter, but Priscilla is on another page. Well, that's true. Now, I know that my father loved me. I do know that. And I just think that the way people parented in the 60s and 70s was very different to what I think is acceptable. Yeah, I think it's completely wrong to hit your kids. I've never hit my kids. Yeah, I've never hit my wife. That's just the way I am. I just think it was different back then. So to watch your mum getting hit, to watch your brothers and sisters getting hit, is something you can never forget, especially if it was very regular. So I do have problems with things like that, but we know our parents love us. We do know that. We do know that. Yes, I wasn't aware it was changed the day before he died. Lisa, sounds like that would be under duress to some extent. He was pressured by Priscilla, in my opinion. Lisa, I agree. Lisa Watts. Lisa, what country are you in? Yeah, Elaine, I was belted as a child, and if I was naughty, it's what they did. Well, there's a difference between a belt and a beating. This is the thing. Where you just, a slap, I get it. Slap on the bum, yeah. Slap. A beating is different. There's a big difference. Prissy could land in jail if she was forcing his autograph. Yes, Gio, it's dodgy. Abuse was normalized. Police didn't even do anything. I agree. You were allowed to hit your kids in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You were allowed to. Even the police used to hit us. Even the police used to hit us. I was naughty as a teenager. I was a naughty kid. There seems to be consistency in someone always trying to get in there to change Presley's will. Yeah, Chicky Blue, yes. Was different then. My dad hit my mum and I used to stand in the way. Jane, that's exactly what I did. I would jump in the middle. Didn't make any difference. And my mum would, when my dad was hitting me, my mum would jump in the middle. God bless her. You know, just different times, guys. My son is disbelief. We could talk to each other on here in 2 different countries, laugh out loud, because I just mentioned my son, laugh out loud. Hi, Luan, you okay? Yeah, so yes, the police used to call it domestic and not do anything. I'm still surprised no news media has questioned Priscilla, nothing at all. Yeah, these terrible allegations with Michael Edwards, alleged allegations, and nothing has been done. Nothing. It's crazy. We want justice for Lisa Marie, and we're going to keep saying it, guys. All right, so Pamela Vernon did not serve in the military. Okay, I'm going to look this up, guys. I might look it up tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we can look up pre-fame Elvis. So Elvis in the 40s. Yeah, in the 40s and early 50s. I think that would be interesting. Oh, don't worry about typing, Pamela. We don't care. Pamela, what country are you in? More women need to come forward. It can't just be Lisa. Of course, that's true, Elaine. We could get a strap in school. Yeah, they used to cane us at school. A big long stick. I had the cane a few times. Funny, times have changed, guys. So you're absolutely right. The belt was a big thing. Yep. Well, my dad used a horse whip. Could you imagine that? A horse whip. Disgusting, guys. Disgusting. I feel bad when I shout at my kids. Seriously, even shouting at my kids, I get upset. So just different generation, different kind of upbringing. Yeah, the slipper. I know. Not good, Gio. Not good. But I also had a happy childhood. It wasn't all bad. I had some many happy times. It wasn't all bad. The cane was common, wasn't it? On the hand, or on the back, on the bum, on the bottom. I just think that generation was different. I remember years later, like 20 years later, saying to my dad, "You do know you used to hit me, don't you?" Yeah. And my dad was like, No, I hardly ever hit you. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a different generation. I think when you witness domestic violence, you tend to either become abusive or completely against it. I'm completely against it. I've never hit my kids, ever. Not even once. My wife will give them a small, hardly ever, mind. My wife almost never. Yeah, but maybe 5 times in 10 years. And she says I'm a big softie. My wife says I'm too soft. And good, I'm glad. That's how I like it. I think when you witness that, let's have a look. Yeah, Chicky Blue, they seem to forget it, right? Yeah. When I said it to my dad, when I was a grown man, he was like, no, I never really hit you. My dad hit me every week for 10 years. So who knows, guys? It's different. Yeah, different generation. We are going trick-or-treating tomorrow night. Definitely. I'm not going to dress up. I may wear some makeup, but we're definitely going trick-or-treating. We're doing spaghetti and chili con carne. We've invited a few people, not many, just my brother's family. So we're definitely doing it. I won't eat any chocolates. Sticking to my diet, guys. Keto carnivore diet. I know. Don't worry, guys. I had a brilliant life. Don't worry about me. I told you I discovered Elvis when I was around 4, and it took my mind out of it. It took me to a different place. This is why I owe Elvis. I've said this to you many times, guys. I defend Elvis. I love Elvis because he saved me from my father. So when people say to me, why are you an Elvis fan? Elvis saved me from my father, because when I discovered Elvis and I wanted to be like him, do my hair like him, act like him, talk, move, I wanted my personality like his. It took me to a different place. So my mind moved to Elvis. So I would stand in the mirror and do my hair, turn my collar up, act like Elvis. This took me away from what was happening with my father. And this is why I feel indebted to Elvis. I owe Elvis. So when I'm sat here with you guys, spending many hours a day, and we're doing Elvis videos, Elvis mini documentaries, Elvis defending, it's easy for me because I'm paying back a debt. I'm paying back my debt to Elvis because Elvis saved me. That's the truth, guys. That's the truth of it. And not everyone will understand it. I say it to my wife. I even say it to my brother. Not everyone understands what I'm trying to say, but I do. I do. You sure did, Elizabeth. Elvis can transport us to peace and joy. He did. Yeah, and it gave me confidence and personality and charm and self-belief. Yeah, and how to be just funny and how to enjoy life. All these things. Elvis was my teacher, just through watching him on the movies. What I had life-size pictures of Elvis on my wall in my bedroom. Yeah, when I was 6, 7, 8, 9. Massive pictures of Elvis on my wall. And then I would turn my collar up and I would proudly go to school with my Brill creamed hair. And I loved it. Loved it. It made me love life. It did, guys. So I had a great childhood. And luckily I was able to put the abuse from my father into a little cupboard and push that to one side. The dominant thing in my life was my love for Elvis. See? So why I love Elvis is clear. Very clear to me. Yeah. There isn't anyone, Linda. I was so lucky as a child with my parents. I remember us all dancing to Elvis in the living room. I love that, Karen. And that's how I am with my kids. We dance in the living room. There's no violence in this house. We have a brilliant time. We all love each other. We have our little arguments, of course, yeah. But we're very lucky. We're very lucky. Oh, that's sad, Jane. Elvis gives me happiness, and I love him as a child too. Yeah, Elizabeth, that's how we all feel. And we protect the bloodline. Remember, we're very protective. We're very defensive over Elvis and his bloodline. We want to protect Elvis. We want to protect Lisa Marie, even though they're gone. We defend their legacy, their image, their reputation. And now we defend Riley, Finley, and Harper. But I think they would be proud that the fans of Elvis support them. What a few of you said to me, well, Finley and Harper are only 16. It doesn't matter. They want to feel supported by the fans. They want that. And they are. We fully support Riley, Finley, and Harper. I don't care how old they are. Yeah. Riley, we fully support her. Yeah. And I keep saying this. Riley put all the abuse in the book. She kept it in the book. She wanted the world to know. She wanted the world to know the wrongdoing from Priscilla. Yeah. It's in there in black and white, guys. She's done a job well. She's done us proud. She's defending Lisa Marie. She is. The book does all the talking. The book does all the talking. So Riley Keough, we got her back. I had a nice childhood as well. My parents did the best they could as a child, and I feel lucky to play in the streets with my friends riding bikes. Sounds lovely in that TV. I do my best, Helen, and but I'm far from perfect. Yep, Elvis absolutely adored Lisa. Lisa was the most important thing in his life. Come on. She was more important than anything. I would say even more important than his own mother. That's how much he loved her. I felt like Elvis was a brother, not a stranger, like he was a friend. That's how I looked at him as a kid. Yes, Gio. Perfect. A lot of writers have gone back to find truth in history. We are no different. If it wasn't for Elvis, I'd still be laying in my bed depressed after losing my only sibling in the last 23 months. Linda, I send you love, Linda. But hey, Linda, you're not type 2 diabetic anymore. It's looking good, yeah? You must have loads of energy now, Linda. if anyone gets a chance, listen to the audio, but I've been listening to the one on YouTube. It's different voices, but it's good. The book is out. It's completely free on YouTube, guys. I think Lisa would have liked this channel. Oh, thanks, Chicky Blue. I do as well. I do. And don't forget, Amy Collett, our researcher, has met Lisa Marie many times. Many times. I like the fact that we have Mindy Miller talking to us. Mindy Miller talks to me. Yeah, I love that. Todd Slaughter has messaged me. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of him. And, you know, I've had things liked by Finley, Elvis's granddaughter. I love that. I like to think that the bloodline likes what we're doing. Like even Riley, I like to think she likes what we're doing. My parents were alcoholics. My dad was verbally and physically abusive to most. My mum, and Elvis was the escape. There we are, Lisa. You know how I feel. I know how you feel. Elvis helped us through it. Yeah, no, the way he was with Lisa was beautiful, Chicky Blue. My parents dead. A lot of us lost our parents. This is David. We send you love, David. Yeah, we like Linda. Yeah, and Mindy Miller. We love Mindy Miller. She talks to us on the 24-hour chat. One day, guys, you'll catch her on there. She comes on in the middle of the night, British time. So American time, that would be late at night. Is that right? She comes on and has a little chat with you guys. Yeah, Elaine, I've seen the comments. I've seen the likes. We like Mindy Miller. We're fans of Mindy Miller. Anyway, guys, we've had a little chat. I'm definitely like, oh, I need to go to sleep. But I've really enjoyed this. I'm glad that we can open up and talk about personal stuff as well, because we're becoming friends. We're a small family, aren't we, guys? We're a small family. So we can do this. Thank you very much. This has been a very, very interesting live. I haven't decided what the topic will be tomorrow morning. I may look into what Gladys and Vernon were doing when they were kids, how they met when Elvis was born, and I may look at Elvis's youth, so when he was just a kid, a teenager. We may do that. We'll see. Sending you all love, guys. We've had a brilliant time. Obviously, if you've enjoyed what we do, buy us a coffee, send us a super thank you. Usual, become a member, subscribe, like, usual stuff. Whenever you guys send me a coffee, thank you so much. If you send me a super thank you so much. So kind. I love what I do, guys. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. Team Elvis taking care of business. Nearly 50 people watching. That ain't bad. Take care, guys. All the best. I'll check you out on the 24-hour Defending Elvis Presley Facebook page. Jump over onto it. We can carry on chatting. Please come onto the page, guys, Defending Elvis Presley, and we can talk 24 hours a day. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna go. I send you all love, and there's a couple of new people. So a special welcome to the new people. Welcome to Team Elvis. You're very welcome. Take care, guys. All the best. Love you all.